Hey, gang, how are you? Thank you, Patreons, for joining Kevin Goatee, Kevin Israel. Hey, pal, how are you? What's going on? How are you today? What's new?
I'm good. I'm so excited for this new version of our show where we get to offer exclusive people, exclusive content exclusively.
That's a lot of exclusives in one fucking phrase slash run-on sentence, but I don't care. I'm not a grammar Nazi, except on Facebook. So let's get into it. Kevin, I'm going to start off with one of my favorite quotes. It's so oft used, but you know what? It'll never be beaten to a bloody pulp, and I love it. It's, I'm your Huckleberry. It never gets old because Gino Bisconti, our friend of the show, who will be back on the show very soon. He goes, hey, we're going across the street to have a drink. Who's going? I go, I'm your Huckleberry. There you go. Tombstone. Never misses.
Everyone knows what it is.
Exactly. How about you? What's one of your go-to quotes for the week?
My quote comes from the 1995 Michael Bay classic Bad Boys.
Oh,
starring Martin Lawrence and Will Smith.
Sure.
And it was while the two of them were driving along on Mike Lowry's awesome
Mike Lowry.
There
you go.
Driving around in his Porsche Turbo, and for some reason my window just shut down.
Sorry no.
You damn right it's limited. No cup holder, no back seat, just a big shiny dick with two chairs in it. I guess we the balls dragging the fuck along.
Who doesn't love Bad Boys?
I don't know. I don't know how you don't love Bad Boys, but
it's great. It's great.
But as a car guy, I love that comment because some cars are just giant dicks that we drive around and we love them. And that Porsche 911 Turbo was a big shiny dick.
I'm not a car guy, but I can appreciate the shit out of one. I go, you know what? That motherfucker. It's like you just slide up to a club and go, all right, you can't be the first, but you can be the next. Woo!
Exactly.
Oh, Ric Flair doesn't get old either. Give me some movie news, please.
Some movie news.
Yes, sir.
So listen, if you're like us, we follow a lot of movie insiders. We talk to a lot of people who are in the know in movies, and we follow a lot of Twitter accounts of people talking about movies. One of the biggest upcoming movies is Doctor Strange 2, The Multiverse of Madness. Apparently, this is going to be the connector from the last generation of MCU into what's comes next. And there are all sorts of rumors buzzing, especially since Spider-Man No Way Home had so many cameos. They say there's going to be a slew of cameos in this one. And the one I saw today was that they think Wolverine is going to appear, but he's not going to be played by Hugh Jackman because he's going to be a different iteration of Wolverine. And look, as you know, I'm obsessed with Wolverine.
Yep.
So my claws always perk up when somebody talks about Wolverine. And I look, cool. It's cool if he is. If he's not, okay. Here's my problem with today. It's just too many theories. If you watched WandaVision, you remember every week there were ridiculous theories came out, and none of them were ever right. How about we just go to the movie and see what happens? What happened in those days? Remember when a trailer just made you interested in a movie, and then you went and you were surprised? There's no surprises anymore. We know everything is going to happen. We knew Tobey Maguire was going to be in No Way Home. We knew the Daredevil was going to be in No Way Home. Everything gets ruined a little bit. And I miss that moment of like, hey, I have no idea what this is about. So look, Wolverine, great. If not, I'm sure it's still going to be a good movie.
I can't agree more with you, which nauseates the shit. I hate to agree with you. Oh, just kidding. We agree 90% of the time. But you're right. It's like fucking Madden and Summerall have to do the X's and O's on every trailer post 2010. Everyone's fucking frame by frame breaking it down. You're 100% right. We don't need that kind of analytics. You're right. But by the way, I did not know that Daredevil was going to be in the new Spider-Man. I know Maguire was going to be in it, but I did not know Daredevil had a cameo. So you're into that universe. I'm not. My news. My second favorite film is what film, of course, Kevin Israel? You should know this by now. We've been dating for 2.5 years.
Second favorite. Well, I know your first is Caddyshack.
Yes, sir. What's the second favorite? You know this.
Second favorite is it's not a Star Wars movie.
It's in the top five. That's top 5, but not number 2.
Beverly Hills Cop?
No.
Oh, what's your second?
Pulp Fiction.
Oh, Pulp Fiction, of course, right.
Did you know? I found today on IGN that in the original draft of Pulp Fiction, Honey Bunny was going to be killed in the original draft. Honey Bunny and the other guy, I forgot his name. I don't think his name was given. Tim Roth's character was supposed to be given, but they said, you know what? It was going to take away from the film if Samuel L. Jackson, after get that whole long ass speech about being the shepherd and finding his way, being the righteous man. If he would have killed them, it would not have done his character the do in the end. I found that interesting, and I agree with the way Tarantino said, let's let him slide. So Pulp Fiction is my news. Excellent. How about that doesn't happen? What do you have?
That doesn't happen. So here's one. The meet cute. We all know what the meet cute is. It's when the two main characters, the love interests, find each other. In movies, it's always an interesting way. But did you meet your significant other when your dog ran away and they happened to find the lovable pup and brought it back to you?
No.
Or when you got stuck in an elevator with them
No.
and they were stuck there too, and you ended up just connecting over 24 hours stuck in an elevator? Or how about you met during the alien invasion when you two had to band together and fight off the vicious horde? No, you didn't. You probably met online or in college or at a bar, like 99.9% of the rest of us, because we're boring. This doesn't happen, but movies convince us that everybody meets through these interesting, coincidental, by chance kind of ways. And you know what?
That doesn't happen. You said, hey, hey, I never asked you this. How did you and Ashley meet?
At law school.
Okay. I met my wife through, ready for this? Going to date myself. I don't give a shit. We're the same age. Ready? 1, 2, 3. MySpace. And then we met at a bar in Morristown. Kid you not.
At least that gets a laugh at everybody.
Yeah.
MySpace is MySpace, that says exactly how old you are.
I know. And I just got single. I was dating for a bit. My buddy goes, go on MySpace. He goes, with my buddy, Terry, one of the very few people, Terry Loda, I know you're listening. You and I are the same person. He's one of those few people who should be doing stand-up. He's fucking hysterical, but he's mortified to go on the stage. Mortified. So he'll never do it. So he would, ghost write some shit for me or watching comics. He said, go on MySpace. I did that. And my wife, to her credit, she had a picture at the Yankee game with her and her friends. And she goes, love the Yankees, hate Johnny Damon. I go, this bitch gets it. I go, oh, now I'm intrigued. And here we are, married with a kid.
Cupid's arrow hit sharp.
I said, I give you the credit. And she had a hot red dress on too. My God, that doesn't happen. I watched Blue Velvet the other day for a podcast and holy shit, there's a lot of that doesn't happen. Like Matthew Perry and Kyle McClanahan going to a bar together and not being assumed as twins. That doesn't happen. But more importantly, Dennis Hopper would huff on amyl nitrate, poppers, what gay dudes use to make sure their assholes are feeling nice and numb before some guy plunges his 8.5 inches. I'm just projecting, Kevin Israel. Don't you
Very
fucking
graphic,
judge me.
Very graphic.
Don't you judge me. Amyl nitrate was a relaxer. You're just going to go in there. But Dennis Hopper decides to go and get blown and actually rape on amyl nitrate. Okay, I can buy that. But in the very end, he finds Kyle McClanahan in a closet with a silenced pistol and starts huffing amyl nitrate. Last thing I'm going to do, I think, while huffing amyl nitrate is trying to kill somebody. That doesn't happen. Again, I haven't killed anybody that I'm willing to admit to on this podcast, but not an amyl nitrate.
I get it. I'll take your word on it.
I tell you what I have watched besides that piece of shit Blue Velvet. I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize. Lynch. Why am I blanking on his name? Come on. David Lynch. Overrated. Here's what I have watched recently. I think I said before, I'll say it again. Barry finished season 2 now. Holy shit, that show is great. Loved it. But here are 2 films I watched. One I liked, one I did not. The first one is called The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot. No, it was a story about Sam Elliott, current Sam Elliott, old guy, kind of Gran Torino-ish. And then they go back and skip around time to somebody who killed Hitler. But then I decided this film sucks. And I did not see the part where he decided to kill Bigfoot. So no good. But The Rental, directed by Dave Franco. Who's Dave Franco? James Franco's brother. The guy who was too busy finger popping NYU students. Directs a film that for I don't know, let's call them late millennials, go and rent off a cabin in the middle of the woods, and shit is abound when they find cameras hidden in the showers and other parts, and people start getting killed one by one. And you know what? Pretty good. Give that a looky-loo. The Rental came out in 2020. So The Rental, good. The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot, not good. What have you watched?
So I recently watched American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story.
Oh boy.
Which, if you know the Kurt Warner story, it is a pretty interesting story. He came out of college. He didn't get right into the NFL. He ended up working in a supermarket, stocking shelves. and then a few years later got his chance, and he ended up being a very successful quarterback. I am not a huge sports guy, as Goatee knows. I love sports movies. I love inspirational movies about an underdog, about somebody who, doesn't have a chance making it and makes it, which is pretty much every sports movie. And I'm a sucker for them. And this movie, it starred Zachary Levi as Kurt Warner.
He's Shazam, right?
What's that?
That's Shazam, right?
Shazam, yeah.
Okay.
He did a fine job as Kurt Warner, I guess. He doesn't really look like Kurt Warner, but he did a fine job. The movie was okay. It spent a lot of time talking about his relationship and his family and his religion. It was produced by a company that has Christian ties or some church ties, so it had a very Jesus feel to it. And it really, I wanted to see more of the football. Like when it finally got to the point that he was playing in the NFL, there was just a montage of him in the NFL, and then it was kind of over.
Oh.
I was like, you want to see the NFL part of it. You want to see him break all these records and get to the Super Bowl and all that. And they showed it a little bit, but it just wasn't enough. And it was too much about his family. And I understand that his family was important to him. So it was fine. It was fine, but it wasn't, to coin Kevin Goatee's phrase. But it wasn't, it wasn't anything that's going to make you want to watch it again. I initially gave it a 6 out of 10, but thinking about it now, I give it a 5.5 out of 10. It was just it was a little better than meh.
You know how I know I didn't give a shit about this film? Because I haven't watched it. And if you tell me I can't see Kurt Warner win the Super Bowl with the Rams, and when Trent Green tears his ACL, and goddamn your buddy Dennis Quaid is fucking dick for a meal, I'm not interested.
Yeah, and he wasn't in it it wasn't enough of a football movie. It was too much about all the other stuff. And I don't know. I just think it missed the mark. It had a very Lifetime feel to it.
Well, when you say this, and I read your post before, so I'm going to spoil this. As you said before, this is too much Christianity for this Jew. And this is too much Christianity for this atheist. I can't get into that, especially if it's sponsored by Kirk fucking Cameron's production company.
And I mean, look, I'm not going to say it wasn't like over the top, but there were moments where it was like, oh, okay, I get it.
And I love how Anna Paquin is his wife. She does not look like Webster's mom, which is exactly how Kurt Warner's real life wife looks. I'm so glad you brought that up. They gave her a wig. She must be filming something else, and she was doing this on the side, because they gave her the worst wig. Because Kurt Warner's wife has this kind of weird, short, spiky haircut. Yeah.
The worst wig I've ever seen. It was distracting. Every scene she was in, I was like, it looks like a raccoon was on her head. It was so incredibly bad. Both my wife and I were like this. Every time she came on scene, we were just laughed. It would look ridiculous.
That's what his wife she looks like the white Grace Jones. How about that?
Yep. Yeah.
And I don't really care to hear about him throwing I mean, I want to see him do football stuff, but yeah, the Christianity stuff for me, that's a hard pass. So that's why I haven't watched it. Yep. But that's it, folks. Thanks for joining Patreon week number 3. We love you. Thanks again for hanging out, and we'll see you next week. Take care.